Hi, my name is Erin Cole, and I am in my third semester at Bryan Stratton College. I am in the paralegal study program, and at my time here at Bryan Stratton College, I believe I have mastered the outcomes from the paralegal studies program of describing and discussing the basic responsibilities of a paralegal, the legal procedural and theories and limitations of a paralegal, applying and defining principles of legal ethics written in a variety of settings, designing and composing legal documents, including but not limited to correspondence, memorandum, briefs, and pleadings. They're all relevant to the substantive areas of law. There are primary sources of law and there are secondary sources of law. Primary sources of law are laws itself, where they come from, which they come from the case law and common law, as they're also called, statutes, Constitution, the United States Constitution, and also the Constitution of the states. And there's also administrative laws such as the FDA and FAA. Secondary laws are laws that are found in legal encyclopedias, treatises, and articles in review. And what they do is just summarize the law of the primary laws to explain more detail of what they are about and how they came to those laws. First, I want to describe how I have mastered the describing and the basic responsibilities of a paralegal and the limitations. There's many responsibilities of a paralegal: confidentiality, honesty, competency, reliable. Here, you'll see that in my introduction to legal research, I have documented that there's a lot of research for the attorney to be done. You have to be competent, reliable, and very detailed in your research and sources of law. There's many laws that change all the time. You have to make sure you are up to date and current in the laws that you find. You also have to cite where you got found those laws. You cannot take credit for other people's work. You cannot give any legal advice to any clients. You cannot sign anything for the attorney. Anything you do, any work you do for the attorney always double checks and goes over, and they will do the signing. And everything is kept confidentiality. Don't talk about it amongst friends, families, peers. Don't even talk about it really in the office or outside the office, such as in the hallways or stairways or elevators or anything like that. You never know who's around you and what people will hear and how things will be talked about. And there goes the whole confidentiality and the trust of the legal team. Then my other outcome that I believe I have mastered is designing and composing legal documents, including but not limited to correspondence, pleadings, briefs, memorandum that are relevant to the different substantive areas of law. Here I used my classes from Introduction to Legal Research and my Torts and Remedy. In my Introduction to Legal Research, we did a memo to the supervising attorney. We had to write to our attorney if we found that there is a case to prove for a client who wanted to bring on a case to his local Texas State Police, who actually humiliated him, and he claims that he held him hostage and against his will of all days, which was on his wedding day, because he had a gun inside his coat jacket, which he had also a license to carry, and he was also actually having a country-like wedding where they did wear boots and guns and things like that. I also did my first case briefing, which in there you do the FIRAC method, it's called, and it's known as the facts, the issues, the rules, the analysis, and the conclusion of a case on how the court has decided on the case. Usually this happens when it gets appealed and goes to a higher court, and then they rule over it. And here I had the analysis and the conclusion that in the disposition that it was affirmed, the higher court agreed with the lower court on that case as well. In my torts and remedies class, it was negligence, and it was a wrongful death case where there was a drunk driver who was also a very known doctor in the neighborhood who did a hit and run and hit someone who was running in dark in the street and killed her, and he left the scene. So there was a civil suit bringing against him for a wrongful death, and I had to look into my home state laws, which is Michigan, for bringing about a wrongful death and who can bring one. And so I have a list of plaintiffs and defendants. I also have here many legal documents, such as the complaint. We did a summons. We did a request for interrogatories, where I asked 5 questions of to the defendants. There was the drunk driver himself, plus the country club where he was at all day, where he became intoxicated. Then there was just appeals. There was a notice of taken disposition. We did a subpoena. Many, many, many legal documents here in this class, in this project here. Then I also want to explain how I feel that I have mastered defining and applying and defending principles of legal ethics within a variety of settings. Here I used my civil litigation. It was a slip and fall case. Again, there was memos to be done to the attorney if we even had a case at all, looking up our state laws. We also had to write a letter to the client where I had to come up with 20 questions or more. And first I started off with some ethical questions, such as if she ever had a case with our law firm before or against the party she was suing. Then I had to make up a memo to the attorney to see if, all the laws and rules applied. We had to do a motion to compel. We had to do an affidavit to the motions to compel. And then we also had to do a trial brief. Again, a lot of legal documents that I've learned since I started my time here at Bryan Stratton College, and I know there will be a lot more. I have done a lot of other exhibits, such as in contract law, where I had to come up with the contract. I had to define the terminology so the clients can understand what's going on and understand more in detail. It's like when you go to a doctor and they talk medical terms, you want to be elaborate and easy to understand. You want the client to understand what you're talking about, so they have a better understanding and are more confident in what's going on with the case. So that is my time here so far at Bryan Stratton College, just doing documents and briefs and memorandum and research. And I have been learning a lot, also with communication and interviews, career outlook, a lot of important information and a lot of good sources of tools that I'm learning from. So that is my presentation so far here from the Bryan Stratton College on my portfolio. Thank you.